Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I don't want her to watch her grandson alone anymore? I, female 23, and my husband, male 24, welcomed our baby, male, in September of last year. We moved from his hometown to mine, in January, in hopes of saving up to buy a house. We moved in with my mom, 50, something she very enthusiastically agreed to. Throughout our few months, she's been a little weird. She's constantly checking to see if he has teeth, pushing for us to stop feeding him milk, tries to give him really complicated food, like candy yams. Her defense is, I did with you, and you survived. Most recently, she was holding him and playfully asked him if he wanted water, in which I responded, do not give him water, Mom. She proceeds to give it him and goes, see, he's fine. He isn't dead. I immediately took my child from her and informed her that she will no longer be watching the baby alone, since she is constantly overstepping my boundaries and doing everything I ask her to not do. She isn't talking to me now, and told me I made her feel like a bad parent and grandparent. Am I the a-hole? Is there something I should be doing to make her talk to me? Edit, I pay half the mortgage, utilities, buy my own food to cook with. I don't rely on her for childcare. Just want to clear that up since I'm seeing a few comments about it. Edit number 2, for some more context, my father was diagnosed with kidney and lung cancer and can't work. He lives in rehab that my mom pays for. Moving in with her was to help my husband and I save. It also helps her since he can't work.
Not the a-hole. This is an incredibly low standard for her to be proud of maintaining.
Yep. This is called survivor bias, and it's dangerous.
But also, one would hope for a little bit more for their kid than not dead.
Not the a-hole. Your child, your rules, decisions. Full stop. Unless your mother believes you are doing something that is actively harming your baby, she should step all the way back and respect how you want to raise your son. Offering you a place to stay should have zero bearing on whether or not she follows the guidelines you set up for caring for your child. The giving him water incident is crazy boundary overstepping and a direct power play. You did the right thing. You're a mother now, and you are responsible for your son, not for mother. You clearly need to move out ASAP. It may take longer to save to buy a house, but this is not a sustainable solution. She will go behind your back and do whatever she wants with your baby if you stay. If she comes to you truly penitent at some point, you might consider letting her see your baby, but I would hesitate myself to leave him alone with her.
Insane boundary overstepping. Made her feel like a bad parent and bad grandparent? Yeah, because you're acting like one. I agree that OP should move out ASAP, but if she's not relying on her mom for childcare, then they may be able to power through for a bit longer if it will set them up for the long run. Really depends on if OP's mom will lick her wounded pride in private or make it everyone's problem.
Not the a-hole. But she will not stop doing these things, and it will be difficult to avoid them while you still live with her.
It's called survivor bias when you say stuff like, well, we did it and we're fine, but all that aside, whether it's fine or not is not her place to call. You're the parent. You set the rules. If she can't abide by your boundaries, then she doesn't get babysitting privileges. It's that simple. It doesn't mean she's necessarily a bad parent or grandparent, but it does mean she needs to understand her place. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepmother she's not my mom and I am not going to give her that mother-daughter experience? My stepmother married my dad when I, 17 female, was 10 and my mom died when I was 5. My stepmother and my dad have 3 sons together and no daughters. My stepmother always wanted a daughter though, and when she married my dad she tried really hard to take over in the role of mom. I never wanted her to be. That's not a her specific thing. I wouldn't have allowed anyone else in to be my mom. Still, I liked my stepmother for the first couple of years, and other than a couple of annoying things, she tried to give me a more girly nickname because my name is more unisex and her talk of being a new mom. It got more strained though when my oldest half-brother was born just over a year after my dad and stepmother got married. Once he was born, she asked me if she could adopt me and if I would like to be her little girl, and I said no. My dad asked me to talk to him about it and I told him nobody else could be my mom. He mentioned legal stuff and I said I didn't want the legal protections from adoptions and wouldn't choose my stepmother if he died anyway. My dad understood and he told me as long as I treat her respectfully, he wouldn't push the issue. He talked to his wife about it and told her the adoption was off the table and that she wasn't to bring it up again. My stepmother went crazy after that. She was always trying to sign us up for mother-daughter trips and tried to spend more and more time with me. She would come up with random trips or experiences for us to do together, and she started cutting my chores and responsibilities that I did before I knew her. She admitted she wanted to show me how great having a mom again could be. I told her I didn't want her doing that stuff. Then I started making excuses and getting out of spending any time with her. She had my second half-brother and was growing more depressed that we never spent time together anymore. After my third half-brother was born, she really got intense. It didn't help that she found out I had gone to my grandma over her with my first period, and I hadn't mentioned getting periods to her at that point. I had them for 3-ish years at that point. She had this whole talk planned and was upset that I had skipped it with her and went to someone else. She was also upset that I didn't experiment with makeup really or go to her for makeup hair advice. Last week my stepmother told me she wanted to be the one I go prom dress shopping with. She told me it's a huge milestone for moms and daughters, and she refuses to let us miss out. I told her I'd go with my friends when the time comes, and she was upset and told me she wants this to be a nice mother-daughter experience. I told her she's not my mom and I'm not going to give her this mother-daughter experience. I told her she's not going to get any of those, because she's not my mom and I don't want her to be. She got really upset and I heard her and my dad fight about it. He told her she can't force that on me. She said I should be more willing to let her in. Am I the a-hole?
Not the a-hole. Your stepmother keeps pushing when you've made it clear you don't see her the way she wants to be seen. Her lack of respect towards you wanting to honor the memory of your mother is really not a great thing. You feel how you feel. If she really wants to be a mother figure, she should respect how you feel. Besides, from what you've said, this isn't about you more than it's about her just wanting a daughter and having had 3 sons instead. You can't escape it, I guess, until you can move out, but definitely you're fine here.
Yes, she always had this idea that she would have at least one little girl, and she tried to make me that before she had kids, but it got so much worse when she couldn't have her own. This was about fulfilling a wish of hers. Makes me feel bad for my half-brothers because she has put a lot more effort into me than into them.
Wow, that's really terrible parenting.
Not the a-hole. You can't help that you never felt that connection. You were a little snappy, but she did keep pushing, and has been pushing you for years. This is so sad. If she wasn't so dead set on the title and adoption papers, she could have had all those things, just as a stepmom instead of a mom. Some stepkids are ready to accept a stepparent as a replacement parent right away. Some never are, but that is up to the kid and not the adults. But anyway, she likely would have had a better relationship with you if she wasn't so pushy. She may have been someone you were more willing to let in, if there wasn't a no motive behind it to manipulate you into being her little girl. You may have never been quite as close as she wanted, but you'd likely be much closer than you are now.
We got along way better in the first year or 2 of the marriage. I liked her. I thought she was sweet, and other than a couple of annoyances, I did talk to her more openly than I did after she had her first child. That was the start of things just getting bad and where I started to dislike her.
Not the a-hole. This is a really tough situation for everyone. It sounds like your stepmom wants to be close, but she can't replace your mom, and that's okay. You need to grieve in your own way, and she needs to respect that. It's great that you've been able to talk to her about how you feel.
Talking to her really doesn't do any good. My dad has my back though. But I end up disliking her a little more every time we have to talk about this because she ignores me or complains.
Not the a-hole. It's one thing not to give each other a chance for a relationship to grow. It's another to force it. I'm a stepmother and yours is dead wrong in her actions. Y'all could have had a good relationship if she didn't try to replace your mother. If she let it naturally develop. She didn't. That's on her.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.